Twin Towers are just one step away for two of football history's greatest names. The legendary Wanderers of the Billy Wright era won the Cup and 3 championships in a golden decade. Now the Wolves of '98 are on the trail of FA Cup glory once again, and they've already hunted down 2 Premiership opponents. But the Gunners have history of their own in mind. The Highbury faithful can see another double in the making to add to the glories of 1971. What an achievement that would be for Arsene Wenger in his first full season as manager. The problem might be goals. Record scorer Ian Wright is still out. And this season's top striker Dennis Bergkamp is suspended. Will it be another Dutchman, Mark Overmars, who supplies the ammunition for Arsenal today? The first of today's FA Cup semi-finals, Wolverhampton Wanderers against Arsenal, live from Villa Park. Hello, good afternoon. It's Premiership against Division 1 today, and you have to go back to 1992 for the last side outside the top flight to reach the FA Cup final. That was, of course, Sunderland. With me today, Barry Venison and Gareth Southgate. Their views in just a moment. But first, let's get today's team news from Gary Newbott.
Well, the big team news is that Mark Overmars does play for Arsenal. He was expected to miss it because of a badly bruised ankle, but he's just been past fit and he's been selected. Let's start with the Wolves team first of all. One surprise here, they did expect Robbie Slater to be selected, but instead Mark McGee, the manager's gone for a real gamble here. He's going to rely on the pace and width of Paul Simpson in midfield. And looking up front, of course, an FA Cup debut for Steve Claridge, signed from Leicester City, and he scored some dramatic sudden death winners for Leicester in the last 2 seasons. Looking at the Arsenal team, well, it's the side you would expect because of suspension to Bergkamp and other injuries, but Mark Overmars, that is a real plus for Arsenal this afternoon. It could prove to be the turning point.
Mark Overmars in the side. Gareth Southgate, that is, in a way, it's almost crucial to Arsenal, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, with Bergkamp and Wright missing, as we said at the start of the programme, Overmars has been weighing in with a lot of goals from midfield.
11,
so,
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he'd be their top scorer after those 2. So the rest of the team you could name in your sleep. Grimondi coming in for Dixon with his hamstring injury, but you know, very solid. And
have you become impressed with this midfield partnership of Vieira and Petit?
Very impressive. I mean, everybody talks about Arsenal's back 4 and what a great job they do, but the 2 of them work so hard in front of them and stop a lot of the attacks even getting that far.
Barry, Wolves, how do you see that formation?
Well, I think they'll go with the formation that they used very successfully against Leeds in the last round. They'll go 3 at the back, and they'll try and stifle the midfield with a 4, but they'll try and cause Arsenal a few problems up front as well. They've got Simpson, who's in the team today because Robbie Slater had a bit of tonsillitis during the week, but that's the way they'll go with Don Goodman supporting Steve Claridge.
How much of a blow is it, Robbie Slater not being in this side?
Well, it is a blow because he's experienced and you know what you're going to get out of him. He knows what the game's all about, he knows what semi-finals are about, and he does need his experience in there. But having said that, they've got probably a little bit more attacking player in Simpson on the left-hand side, so he's jigged it quite well, Mark McGee.
Don Goodman and Steve Claridge up against that Arsenal defence, lads. That's an interesting confrontation.
Well, they don't give much away, do they? And I think it's going to be tough for Wolves today. I think their best bet is to keep it really, really tight and try and nick one.
OK, thank you, lads, for the moment. Let's have a look now at some of the stories and some of the personalities in the 2 camps, starting with the 4-1 outsiders.
£6 years and £20 million ago, Molineux was transformed thanks solely to Sir Jack Hayward, born a mile away by his own admission, the golden tit that feeds the club. He brought Billy Wright, captain in their 1949 FA Cup win, back to the boardroom. Last 3 attempts to get to Wembley ended in the semi-finals. Glenn Hoddle, for one, spoilt the party. John Richards played in all 3. Now he's managing director. The pain of semi-final defeat still acute.
To actually get to the semi-final and then just be within a whisker of the final itself and to have that taken away, it takes a lot to recover from, to be perfectly honest.
Mark McGee wants promotion. Sir Jack to get his hands on the FA Cup. Wolves may have beaten Wimbledon and Leeds, but Arsenal chased the double.
I think you have to have very clear game plan against a team like Arsenal, because I don't think my players would be upset at me saying it. You know, we know that they've got better players than us. There's like a team that's full of international players, and in order to beat them, we're going to have to do something about that. Now, that doesn't just mean relying on our players playing well. It means that giving our players ideas tactically to stop them from playing, but still giving us the opportunity to win the game.
Don Goodman returned to the city where he was born and rejected, and beat Leeds United only weeks after almost joining Ipswich.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be very, very difficult, obviously. But, you know, this is the FA Cup, and the beauty of the FA Cup is that David sometimes slays Goliath, and that's what we're going to have to try and do.
2 years ago, Goodman's career looked over a fractured skull in a collision against Huddersfield. More recently, he overcame a long-standing Achilles problem. Hans Segers overcame the threat of prison, cleared over match-rigging allegations.
I learned a lot about myself. As before, you think, you know, football is everything. You know, that's all is on stake. That's your life, but it's not.
Over 2 years since his last senior game, Segers saved brilliantly a penalty in the quarter-finals. Long-suffering fans hope that it'll be Arsenal next for Goodman and Segers to celebrate.
It's a massive game, but Arsenal won't be fazed. This is the club who tried to buy Wembley, whose training base is a 5-star cup final hotel, and for whom the double looms larger by the day.
This is photography for the Arsenal merchandising catalogue. Loads of shots have been done, these are just the inside shots with the players.
It's all right, we're not good.
The statistics line up impressively. To reach the semi-finals, Arsenal have shrugged off 7 games, 3 replays, 2 penalty shootouts and 1 red card.
It's been an amazing run for us, you know, we just won't let go.
They said earlier in the season that Arsenal didn't have a squad that was good enough to challenge for just the league title.
Yeah, you know, that's what they always say about us. You know, everybody likes to pull us down, but we love proving people wrong, you know, and we'll do that season in, season out.
One of Arsene Wenger's real achievements has been to foster that old stubborn streak in his new foreign understudies. In midfield, Manu Petit now has that 1-0 to the Arsenal kind of look.
He's changed a lot since he's been here over the, just the beginning of the season.
As a personality?
As a personality, yeah, he's coming to himself. He's excellent, as you can see for yourself, basically.
You know, these French guys are something else, you know, they take everything in their stride.
The guy who's keeping Vieira out of the French squad must be one hell of a player, because I haven't seen too many people get the better of him this season in the Premier League.
In January, they were 118-1 to do the double. Now it's 7-2. Wolves have to overcome not just the nation's form team, but a spirit level almost as good as 71.
A few months ago, none of this looked possible. But, you know, now we've got a day we can go and enjoy ourselves, relish it, really, because these are great games to play in, and take the challenge that they're going to give us.
Yeah. In your quiet moments, sitting at home, does your mind wander to thoughts of the double and the 2 trophies in your hands?
Yeah, it does a little bit, yeah, but I ain't got many quiet moments at home, you know. That's it.
When the season began, did you think that the prospect of a double was a reality?
When the season begins, you think that you have a chance to win everything until you lose some important games. So I thought that my priority would be the championship, to do as well as we could in the championship, and of course try all the other competitions as well as we could. So we went out in the European Cup early, and after we concentrated more on the FA Cup and in the Coca-Cola Cup. So I never think at the beginning of a season that it will be double or triple. Just, I think when you're a manager, you try to do as well as you can in every game and try to win every competition. We are in a good position, and the positive thing in our situation is that we have things in our hand. If we do well, it's up to us, and not we don't rely on the results of the other teams. We have shown some good consistency, but we are now in a period where we have to be good, and where the good players perform. So it's nothing is done, and what is important is what is in front of us, and that's the important period for us.
nothing is done yet, says Arsene Wenger. Do you think chasing the double, Gareth, is a burden for Arsenal or not?
I don't think it will be, not for the players with their experience. I think it's brilliant for them. I think they'll be looking forward to every game, and in the way that they're playing at the moment, the confidence that's running through that side, they'll think they can do the double, I'm sure.
Wolves' priority really is a playoff place, isn't it, rather than the semi-final?
Yeah, and they're not guaranteed that either, but this is a big, I mean, they've got a big 3 days. They've got a game on Tuesday as well against Charlton. This is a massive time for the club. They're just lagging behind on the league position at the minute, but it's not, they'll forget about that today. It's about the game today and getting stuck into Arsenal.
Can we just talk about the pitch for a moment? The going was pretty heavy at Aintree yesterday. Gareth, you played on this pitch yesterday. I mean, have you ever known a match being played the day before a semi-final?
No, but I know that the groundsmen seem to be preparing it for today rather than yesterday's game, and I think Harry Redknapp...
In what way? Do you mean it was long, or...?
It was very long, and I think Harry Redknapp made that point in his press conference afterwards. It's very bare, there's not a lot of grass on it, it's been poor all season, and it might be a bit of a leveller, but with the rain that we've had, I think that will help matters.
Yeah. Barry, tactically, Wolves, I'm interested. With Mark McGee saying we've got to have a game plan against this side, does that mean that they're really going to set out their stall, or does it just simply up and at them?
Oh, it's not up and at them. They've got to be cautious, but what they don't want to do is give anything away cheaply. They're going to go, like I said, with the same formula that's worked for them against Leeds. They'll have the 3 at the back, and they'll have the 3 back spread quite wide. But it's the 3 guys up front, stroke midfield, who are going to be the most important ones, to see if they can drop little pearls up front on the break. It will be on the break as well.
OK, thank you. Short break now, and after that we'll be looking at some of the great moments for our two teams so far on the road to today's semi-final. Welcome back to our FA Cup semi-final with kick-off here at Villa Park in about 15 minutes' time. Now, certainly the atmosphere is building. 40,000 fans, I think I mentioned that to you, expected here this afternoon. But now, let's look back at the goals, the saves, and of course those moments of good fortune that have brought Wolves and Arsenal to the semi-finals.
Grimondi on for Bergkamp. Always a threat whenever he's anywhere near the goal. And that's a fabulous strike from Dennis Bergkamp. Ainsworth. A chance, and it's there! Gordon. Seaman with a great save. Oh, he's missed it. And Arsenal are through to the 4th round, but only by the skin of their teeth.
Wolves are goals to good and looking perfectly comfortable. This is Patalainen through, should be Priest's ball. Oh, Patalainen stolen it from him, and Wolves go 2-0 ahead. 3-goal advantage for Wolves, well in charge of the tie. And here's Patalainen to wrap it up. The First Division team are comfortably through 4-0. Anelka for Arsenal, then Bergkamp. Overmars is through, chance for Mark Overmars, super start for Arsenal. Nicholas Anelka. Support forthcoming from Parla. Parla's in the clear, Schwarzer has come, and Parla has finished with style, and Arsenal are 2 to the good. John Goodman working hard for Wolves. This is Naylor, his first senior goal in his first FA Cup appearance. Oh, it's come all the way through to Patalainen, and Wolves are through to round 5.
And the ball played in. And an opportunity here for Anelka, and he's gone in. Arsenal go ahead in a little over a minute. Bergkamp, it flicked off the defender and went in. Arsenal 2 up, and nothing Miller could do about
it. Wimbledon's corner, Jones arriving. Vinnie Jones puts the Premier Division side ahead. Robinson, equaliser. again for Wolves. Oh, terrific finish! And for the first time in a 3-hour cup tie, Wolves have the lead.
Away by Keogh, flicked on by Bergkamp. Anelka. Now, there was a clash there between Bergkamp and Lomas off the ball, which the referee had a good view of. It's a red card for Dennis Bergkamp. Play back to Vieira, and now Anelka taking over. Oh, that's a superb goal by Nicolas Anelka. Trying to run past Keogh. Still Hartson on the wall. John Hartson! Tony Adams says, I'll have a bit of this. And Adams gives Arsenal the advantage. Abu to keep West Ham in business. Ah, he's missed it! And it's Arsenal who go through to the semi-finals by the width of a coat of paint. Now Robinson. Goodman's onside here. Don Goodman has put Wolverhampton Wanderers within touching distance of the semi-finals. It's Hasselbank. He's got past Williams. He's got past Keane. Has he? No penalty. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Saved! Oh, what a moment for Hans Sagers and for Wolves.
Yeah, quite a story, Hans Sagers, and he's one of the men I would like to talk about with you, Barry, really here. But first of all, another character, because I'm amazed to see Steve Claridge here today.
Well, he's went the long way around, hasn't he? He could have been out of this game by being cup-tied for Leicester, but he didn't come on as sub. Yeah, it's an important day for him because he's got to hold the ball up. He's the one who's going to have to get his back into the play and bring other people in, get other people involved. He's very good at that. He complements Don Goodman's style. He'll run past them. Then we talk about Hans Sagers here, who's, he's had a torrid 2-year. What was his trials and tribulations? He's looking forward to this game, I'm sure, and he's making up for lost time. He's in fine form.
It's an amazing story. Hans is a quite amazing story, isn't it?
Well, he's been through a very tough time, and he's really missed 2 years of his footballing life, and he looks as if he's thoroughly enjoying his life now. And this is a big day for him, and I'm sure he'll do very well.
A couple of key men for Arsenal, Gareth, starting with Mark Overmars, who's made it today, just.
Yes, I mean, it's a big bonus for Arsenal that he's come through that fitness test. He took a while to settle, having come from Ajax. I think they're a bit disappointed with his early season form, but he's now showing what he's capable of. And as I said earlier, the number of goals he's weighed in with from midfield, and as we saw that goal against Middlesbrough, cutting in from that left wing, vitally important.
Your old mucker here, Tony Adams.
Yeah, I've been fortunate and privileged to play alongside him. Inspirational figure, possibly one of the most dominating figures in the English game for the last 10 years, and he's been how many of these occasions has he been through? It's his 40th FA Cup tie for Arsenal today, and part of a defence that I think has now kept 8 clean sheets on the spin, so very important figure.
Okay, thank you. Well, when we return, the team should be on their way out. A sellout crowd of just under 40,000 here at Villa Park, both sides well represented, and I suppose it's a case of Wolves hoping, but Arsenal expecting.
I wouldn't miss anything. Tremendous support, fantastic.
Silly question, but who's going to win, Sir Jack?
We are, I hope. God, we've come a long way. We haven't had the luck of the draw. We've been drawn away in every tie, and we've done well. I think we're a cup team.
I think we'll win. 1-0. Now these look like smiles of confidence. Smiles of experience.
Gonna stuff Wolves.
Easily?
Yeah, definitely. Even though we ain't got the right man, we're still doing.
So who's going to win?
Us. Definitely.
What do you think?
Yeah, I reckon we're gonna win 1-0. Just.
Welcome back to Villa Park, where we're just minutes away from the FA Cup semi-final between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Arsenal. Our guests are Barry Venison and Gareth Southgate, and Arsenal are expected to take the game to Wolves, Barry.
Yeah, they are. Wolves are the underdogs. I mean, traditionally as a country we do love the underdogs, but it's going to be very tough for them today. Semi-finals are about, about having the nerve and the ability not to make mistakes. in all fairness, Arsenal have got both those things in abundance.
Both you guys know what this feeling is like. Gareth, both you and Barry, you know what semi-finals are like. They're coming out, they try to smile. You try to smile, don't you?
Yeah, you try to be as relaxed as possible. It's a fantastic occasion for these Wolves players, and I'm sure they're relishing it, looking forward to it. They've got great support here.
Do you think Wolves are more at home here at Villa Park, the fact that they're just down the road, really?
I'm sure they'll feel that way. I think you can see by the number of their supporters here, they seem to outnumber Arsenal quite a bit. But as Barry says, the experience that Arsenal have got, I think at this stage of the competition will be vital.
It's about time we start to think about putting our heads on the block here, lads. The odds say that Arsenal are 6-4 on to win today, Wolves 4-1 to win. Barry, first of all, you?
Well, I keep saying it's going to be very difficult for Wolves. I think it's going to be a tight game. I don't, in all honesty, I don't see this being a high-scoring game. But I don't see Arsenal losing it.
Chesterfield came very close to getting to a final last year.
We can say it is a semi-final. Anything can happen. The referee could make a bad decision. Tony Adams could fall over. But I do think it's going to take a mistake from Arsenal to lose this game.
Gareth?
I think it'll be very tight. I wouldn't put the Sunday roast on yet. I think we might get some extra time. So,
I'm glad you've made that point, because today, let me tell everybody at home, there is extra time if needed after 90 minutes, but no penalty shootout today. Instead, it would be a replay on Wednesday, the same venue, and then we would have a penalty shootout at that time. I mentioned about Chesterfield 12 months ago against Middlesbrough. Gareth?
Yeah, well, I think the difference with that was that Middlesbrough were in a poor run of form, but I remember coming here 8 years ago and watching a Liverpool side with a certain B. Venison involved lose to Crystal Palace, so maybe it's not such a foregone conclusion.
Well, we'll just soak up this atmosphere here as these two teams come out. Fantastic support, of course, here up in the Midlands from the Wolves supporters. And there are the Arsenal supporters, who certainly in recent years have been more used to occasions like this and indeed Wembley finals. So the two teams out on the pitch, moments from kick-off. Time now to get and to join our commentary team, Ron Atkinson, and first of all, Brian Moore.
Thank you, Bob. Yes, perfect conditions here now. The sun is shining after a morning of rain, and the pitch, having been played on by Villa and West Ham yesterday, in fact doesn't look in too bad a shape. They've cut it since then, and they've had the covers on until about an hour or so ago. Let's have a look at the teams, and because of suspensions and ineligible players, Wolves really have had to reshape their side, particularly in the midfield, where Carl Robinson and probably Paul Simpson both get the call. Keith Curle, the captain, injured last week, returns to be among the three central defenders, and Don Goodman is also back to join Steve Claridge in attack. You'll notice that the legendary Steve Bull is only on the subs bench.
It looks very much as if Mark McGee's opted for some containment in his team. Three central defenders, four across the middle. I actually think Simpson will drop back a little bit from there. If he stays up, it will mean that Mark McGee's trying to contain the whole of the Arsenal back four by using three front players spread.
Well, the good news for Arsenal, of course, we've heard, is that Mark Overmars has been past fit. Remember, they're already missing the striking power of Dennis Bergkamp, who's suspended, Andy and Wright injured, Christopher Ray and Nicolas Anelka will be the main strike force up front, and Gilles Grimondi is at right back in place of the injured Lee Dixon.
Yes, it'll be a familiar 4-4-2 lineup. Perhaps two out-and-out strikers, whereas normally Bergkamp slots in a little bit and links up the midfield and the front players. Grimondi, whether he'll charge forward as much as Lee Dixon, we don't know. But you look at them, they're durable.
They're durable. There's the referee, Stephen Lodge of Barnsley, Andrew Hogg of Sheffield, and Peter Walton of Northampton as two linesmen today. Bull Stowell, the goalkeeper, young Keane, Robbie Keane, only 17, Slater and Naylor are the Wolves substitutes. Bold, Platt, Manninger, who's had a fantastic period in goal when David Seaman was injured, Boa Morty, and young Stephen Hughes are the Arsenal subs. Don Goodman, and he's had some problems with an Achilles. In fact, he's been to Germany in the last week to get treatment on it. But on his day, he can be a handful. 7 goals already this season, and the all-important one that he got against Leeds in the quarter-final.
I think, Brian, when you talk about Don Goodman, I think he could be possibly the most effective player for Wolves. He's got good pace, and sometimes Winterburn pushes forward an awful lot. He'll have to exploit that space behind him, you know, and try and get in there and stretch the remainder of the Arsenal defence.
Well, he missed out when Sunderland were in the cup final because he was cup tied. Here's Mark Overmars, no intention of missing out him this afternoon. He's been in a terrific run of form. You get the feeling he's actually taken 1 or 2 injuries quite early in games. He's very much a marked man these days. His pace is electric, and down that left side of the Wolves flank, they're going to need to be very, very wary indeed. So we're 1 step from a place at Wembley, and I suppose for one side, 1 step from being forgotten as beaten semi-finalists. Today really is a day in football where you have to expect the unexpected. Arsenal overwhelming favourites, beaten only once in their last 22, but semi-finals, as our guests have already said today, are such a test of nerve that nothing at all should be taken for granted. Wolves in the old gold and black shirts will kick off, and first we have to, Winterburn has to disconnect himself from black and gold balloons. Guess from which end they've come. Terrific atmosphere, a great noise here at Villa Park, and Wolves getting this semi-final underway. Muscat. Goodman knocking it back up towards Claridge. And Simpson, I noticed the number 9 already taking a very advanced position, Ron. Muscat with the throw. And Arsenal getting it away. Still Goodman. And I think the whistle's gone. It'll be a throw, which Muscat himself will take. Goodman lurking. Claridge here. Anelka. Unusual for them to start at midday. It's upset routines of everybody. And certainly it's been an early call, I would have thought, from the fans in the Black Country, and even more so from those who've come up from London. Nigel Winterburn with the throw then for Arsenal. Off curl. Richards hitting it forward towards Claridge. Already his socks down close to his ankles. And here's a first touch for David Seaman. Out for 13 games with that chipped bone in his finger. But what a deputy Alex Manninger turned out to be. Towards Anelka. Now Ray. And a first touch for Hans Seggers.
Yes, certainly looks from the word go that Mark McGee is going to play with 3 on top. Spread, 1 up the middle, Claridge. Goodman looking after the Winterburn side, and Simpson to a certain extent looking after the remainder.
Goodman jumping for it, Claridge collecting. Back again. Now corner for Wolves. It was Sedgley right up there, whose job is just to park himself just in front of the back 3. Sedgley, the only player in the Wolves side who's actually played in a cup final, played there for Spurs against Forest back in '91. Corner played very wide there, and Christopher Ray getting it comfortably clear for Arsenal. Curl, the captain.
You've heard all the talk, haven't you, about Arsenal, about under Arsene Wenger, about all this business about they've now become a very, very good football side and so forth. They will play exactly like the Arsenal of old if they have to. They'll head things away, they'll kick things away, and they'll try and grind Wolves down.
Winterburn. Your Sheffield Wednesday played them last week. You were impressed?
They were excellent against us. I mean, to be fair, we actually tried the same system as Wolves are operating today. And what the problem you have, and this is where Dixon maybe missed a bit, when Arsenal fullbacks bomb on, it very often runs your front players in back towards their own goal. We finished up with players about 5 yards outside our penalty area, our attacking players.
Vieira. Overmars away over on the left. To Claridge. Watched by 2 Arsenal defenders though, but gets the ball back to Paul Simpson.
I think a better ball from that area might be. Claridge isn't going to run either of the centre-backs of a distance, but if Simpson, who's got a great left foot, can angle 1 or 2 over the 2 centre-halves, there's a real possibility of Goodman coming in off the other side. Goodman's got good pace and he'd be too strong for Winterburn in the air.
Adams getting it forward. Here's Richards. Yes, Mark McGee was telling me earlier in the week he's got such total respect for Arsenal. He said, though, we need to keep our shape and our discipline behind the ball when they've got to possession, and then look for the likes of Claridge and Goodman maybe to create something that we can defend.
I think their mind game should be to try even, and so if we have to go to extra time in a replay and penalties, that's what we'll do.
Well, he certainly picked, in many ways, a damage limitation looking side, Ron, hasn't he?
Well, you say that, and yet he's got three up top, and he's a little bit lightweight in midfield. He'll certainly need Muscat and Fogger to reinforce there very quickly. I just wonder when Arsenal do get going, whether Muscat might start finding himself a little bit 2 against 1 when Winterburn starts to surge forward. You know, he's already got the responsibility of having to look after Overmars.
Unfair challenge by Richards. On Anelka, a free kick to Arsenal. Petit's gone forward. Overmars is over on the far side. Grimondi will take it. Anxious look from Hans Segers. First real test now for the Wolves defence. Adams has made a run on the far side, and he was doing a bit of pushing, and it'll be a free kick to Wolves.
You'll watch Adams a lot on set plays. That time he came very late, so he didn't get marked. But he's also got a habit of, particularly off corners, where he stands in the middle and spins right round to the back, and not very often, if the corner's big, finds himself completely unmarked.
He's certainly had his troubles with injuries this season, but he seems really to have put those behind him now and playing well.
Oh, I have to say last week he was magnificent, as well as I've seen him play in years.
Adams jumping for this, just flicking it back. Winterburn turning away from Seaman, but just how quickly Claridge had pounced on him. Arsenal's throw, Nigel Winterburn. Never scored for Arsenal in an FA Cup tie. Claridge scored some valuable goals in his time. Parler, his first real touch. Curl. It's not been a bad opening for Wolves. Robinson. Simpson. Back to young Welshman Robinson again. Played wide now for Froggatt. Sedgley. Froggatt. Dean Richards hitting it long to the far side towards Kevin Muscat. Goodman versus Winterburn. Adams. To Goodman. Well, he was looking to attack the defender, but before he could do that, Christopher Ray had stepped in and picked the ball out for Arsenal. Here's Vieira. Keown. Grimondi. Keown again, sent off last week. Curl.
That's the Overmars then just straight into the middle. You know, he's perhaps getting a little bit impatient, hasn't had any possession yet.
Here's Richards. Again Adams there before Goodman. Sedgley battling. shape really at the moment, but Wolves are giving as good as they're getting. A timely jump there from Gilles Gremondi. Ray playing it wide.
At the moment, Wolves have rattled Arsenal.
Yes, they have.
Arsenal haven't been able to, they're even when they've got time, they're not really passing the ball with any conviction. You get the feeling that Arsenal may have just said, let's not do anything silly for 25 minutes. They've been in enough semi-finals. They don't want to give the upper hand to the underdog, so to speak. But you have to say, Wolves have come out very confident, very organised.
And that's regarded as a shove in the back on Curl. And not an obstruction by the Wolves player on Ray Parlour.
You always feel the fella chasing the ball's hard done by, don't you? I mean, you don't get the impression that Keith Curl is doing anything else but trying to shadow the ball out.
Goes Keown. Here's Sedgley. I think he could be a real key man. Steve Sedgley in this Wolves side.
I think particularly because I've got the two central midfield players of Arsenal are excellent, Vieira and Petit. And once Vieira starts running and really opening their legs, Sedgley will have to be watching for it.
And here is Steve Sedgley. Almost found Claridge, but Claridge's control let him down. Overmars. Finding Ray. Overmars again. Petit. This is not a bad break. Parlour couldn't make anything of it. There's a great opportunity there beginning to open up for Christopher Ray. But the old gold and black shirts were swarming around him and charged it away.
And Keith Curl's done excellent there. He hasn't panicked. He's just stood his ground, blocked the shot off. But I just wonder, whether Chris Ray could have just nicked a little ball sideways there. Looked like Anelka had a nice little position for a pass that would have taken him in on goal.
And a goal kick for Arsenal. Neither side actually are prolific scorers at the moment. Wolves only 6 goals in their last 8 games. Arsenal only 10 in their last 11. But defensively, they've both been absolutely as mean as you come. So it suggests a rather tense and tight occasion here at Villa Park. And so far, Wolves are looking for a place in the playoffs, top of the First Division, and have acquitted themselves well. Still 0-0. Sedgley getting it back, knocked back by Adrian Williams, and Seggers with the clearance up towards Winterburn.
Just thinking there, Brian, when we were talking about the experience in the Arsenal side, there's an awful lot of the Arsenal players, this will be their first FA Cup semi-final.
Yes.
And whatever anybody says, the English FA Cup is totally different to anywhere.
Sedgley had his back to the ball then, and here's Vieira, and here's a possibility, and Ray has made it 1-0. That all began with Steve Sedgley actually looking the other way and not seeing the ball coming his way.
Very, very poor goal kick, wasn't it, from Hans Seggers. Great run from Vieira. First time he's picked it up and searched, had a chance to pass then, taken the defender on, and that's a good finish. This is lovely here. Beautiful skill here.
2 minutes gone.
Lovely weight of pass.
And Arsenal go 1 up.
In basically their first attack, isn't it?
In basically their first attack. Now it's a real test for Wolves. And they're through again. That time Anelka was held up.
But I mean, you so rightly said, the object in football, never lose sight of the ball, but the miscued clearance from the back was awful. Although it did at least reach the halfway line, Vieira did have to travel the half the pitch. But he was onto it like a flash.
And he's in a rich vein at the moment. His first Premiership start. He scored recently against Wimbledon. He scored that stunning goal that brought 3 points for Arsenal at Bolton last Tuesday. And here he is again in this cup semi-final, putting Arsenal 1 up. 22. Sedgley. Yeah, chapped up there is really when you think about it. 22, Liberian, came from Monaco. And he's given Arsenal the perfect start and will calm a lot of nerves in red and white shirts here this afternoon now. But here's Goodman. And Wolves are fighters. Were made odds on by the bookmakers to win this. They're evens favourite actually to win the FA Cup as well. Ray stopped that time by Adrian Williams. Will be a free kick to Arsenal. Great occasion for the fans this, something like 18,000 tickets to each of them. Ron?
I'm not sure that Adrian Williams didn't withdraw his foot there, you know. Williams had a big protest afterwards, and it looked very much as if he may just have withdrawn his foot. That might be a foul for intent more than anything else.
Winterburn, Overmars. Arsenal something like 7-2 to do the double.
But that's where it would drive you up the wall, like something like Mark McGee. Set his game plan out. He's seen the opening 12 minutes or so with no problems. Overmars hasn't had a ball. Arsenal haven't really picked at anything. And then a mistake defensively, which you can't legislate for. And all of a sudden they're in the invidious position of having to chase.
Adams to Overmars. Space here now. A dinked cross behind for the corner. Keown's forwards, Adams is forwards. And a good fist away. Now can Ray Parlour return it? Simpson now. Got a bit of pace about him, got a good left foot. Claridge! But he can't quite get on the end of it.
Yeah, lovely ball, very, very slack marking by. There were three defenders back there of Arsenal. They all left them to each other. But the one thing they have in the locker, they know that Steve Claridge can't run them for 50 yards.
But there were still some pretty sharp looks between Grimondi and Tony Adams there. That amount of space was allowed.
I just wonder if somebody like Don Goodman had have had that situation. It might have been a totally different thing.
Claridge versus Keown. Such a character, this number 11. Talking to David Pleat in the week, who had him as a manager when he was at Luton. He said he's a real cheerful eccentric, but he says he's got fantastic energy. Yes, going back to what Mark McGee must be thinking about. I mean, it was an error compounded by two of his most experienced defenders, really. The bad goal kick. And did you see Steve Sedgley was so busy giving instructions that he didn't see the ball coming his way. And once Vieira was in control here, and a lovely flick past, and a superb bit of finishing by Christopher Ray, and it was all over.
Oh, once Arsenal picked up the ball, fabulous goal from their point of view, but Sagers wasn't really under any great pressure to miscue a kick either.
Here's Simpson. And away comes Seaman. And Elka. Quickly in was Robinson. And now it's Froggatt. Used to play at Villa Park. Dean Richards. Williams, good strong header, no nonsense about that against Overmars. Also no nonsense about Goodman's work here. dispossessing Winterburn. Claridge putting it into the path now of Sedgley. The Wolves' poor goal-scoring record that I mentioned a few moments ago before Arsenal scored suggests that it's going to be very, very difficult for them to nick one back. It's a defence as powerful as Arsenal's. Here's Adams. And now Keown. Hit long again towards Overmars.
If you thrust the game forward a little bit to maybe the second half, it was still 1-0. Just wonder whether the Wolves legend, one of the biggest legends they've ever had, Steve Bull, whether there's one more page to write.
Well, it would be a glorious page, and there have been a few of them. He's scored 300 goals for this club. Steve Bull, the Tipton Terrier. The Tipton Terrier, I suppose. Ray to Keown. Towards Anelka, too high for him. Knocked back by Williams. Adams. Again it's Williams. Vieira playing it wide. Finds Overmars. And there is Steve Bull. 12 years he's had. 300 goals, as you can see, in 538 matches for Wolves. One of the great legends of the Black Country. Goodman did well there. Support from Claridge. Robinson getting it away here for Richards. And now for Froggatt. Now he likes to get down that flank. But he was pretty heavily outnumbered. And Elka. Cut out by Simpson. No foul. Play on, says Steve Lodge. Here is Paul Simpson. Robinson to Claridge. Free kick to Wolves. Foul by Vieira. Kevin Muscat with it, although Keith Curle's going that way. Muscat takes it. Plays it in again. Parler gets it clear. Anelka can let it run. But Sedgley's back.
That's a good interception by Muscat there, you know, because Anelka can hit a head of steam. Is very, very powerful, very quick.
Simpson. Froggatt outside him. Goodman on the far side.
If he's got a good enough left foot, Simpson, Paul Simpson, it's the same as Froggy, to hit those beyond Tony Adams. If they just land them on top of Tony Adams, I don't think they've a prayer. They've got to try and miss Tony Adams out and try and land them on top of Winterburn. That's the one that Don Goodman was looking for.
Yes, and look for Goodman coming in, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, Goodman's good in the air and will possibly win a ball or two against Adams, but he'll certainly win a lot of Winterburn.
Free kick to Arsenal. Halfway through the first half now. Christopher Ray's goal. Separating the sides. Rain returning.
No Burkamp. Petty. We've seen him Beltman from there, haven't we? They're all queuing up. They all want to pop at it. Vieira, Petty, Overmars.
It's Overmars. Deflected. And really wasn't a big problem for Hans Segers. Anelka. Goodman. Adams with a header. No foul. Referee absolutely right. Vieira. So impressive in that midfield, and what a ball that is. And here's Grimondi, but I think he's
Great authority about the way Vieira hits the ball, isn't it? I think those two anchor men that Arsenal have got are magnificent players. They're a great duo.
Richard hits it long. Goodman might sneak in behind. This is a chance possibly. Oh, his feet were high on Seaman, and David Seaman was unhappy about that. He's explaining to big David Seaman, but certainly the feet were high as Goodman came in there. He didn't really make a contact, but it could have done.
I think the problem he's got, I mean, that's the sort of ball you're looking for, that diagonal one. I'm surprised Tony Adams got caught out there. The ball was in the air a long time, but Goodman was creeping in off the right side, off his shoulder. And I suppose he looks at it, he's in full momentum. He thinks the ball's still in the loose.
It comes to Claridge. And taken by Parler. Anelka one side, Ray the other. Here's Christopher Ray. Into Anelka. And banged away by Curl. They remain looking reasonably secure at the back, Wolves. They'll be regretting that one serious mistake that sends Arsenal through.
Yeah, this is the experience coming out now, taking the heat out of the game a little bit, patient. Don't have to force the game. They're a goal to the good. They know they've got a defensive record that compares with anything.
Sedgley up to Claridge. A back heel by him. Simpson. Sedgley. And now Froggatt. Trying to run the legs off Grimondi. And does very well. Claridge loves it with the back to the goal, but couldn't find a turn. There were just too many Arsenal players around him, and it's Vieira with an imperious run of his coming away with the ball and finding Petit. And Overmars has gone streaking along that left flank. But Muscat read that well. Foul on Robinson. Carl Robinson. Played on. Goodman. Claridge. Muscat won't get there.
But that gives hope for Wolves, doesn't it? They've put Arsenal's defence, given Arsenal's defence a couple of hairy moments just. Good work by Steve Froggatt there.
Vieira pushing a guy out of the way, but nothing given. And Arsenal can break again. It's Ray Parler. Here's Anelka, who's got terrific pace. He's seen off Curl. He's now facing Richards. He's got support from Parler. Still with Anelka. And now his Parler. Went Seggers. And in the end it's Anelka. Again, there were errors in the Wolves' defence.
I think Steve Froggatt just laid it back, expecting Sedgley to just knock it forward, but Sedgley was caught flat-footed. Plays it in, he intercepts, knocks it into his path, knocks it past him. Good save, but a redemption there for Hans Seggers.
So Williams now for Wolves. Hits the head of Petit. Ray. Anelka. Parler. And again. Petit's gone into the box. Vieira. Overmars. But Goodman came to retrieve the situation, but then concedes the ball to Winterburn. It's a long-range shot. Nigel Winterburn.
First time he's straight forward, Nigel Winterburn. Games you watch him at Highbury, as soon as the ball's released into the half field, he races forward, but he obviously realises it's sensible time.
Say he's got Steve Bull he can bring on to perhaps restore things up front. He's got Robbie Slater who can come on, and he's got this excellent young Irishman Robbie Keane, 17-year-old. In fact, he'll scored 1 or 2 goals this season. Got 2, I think, in the opening day against Norwich City.
Keane.
Keane.
Oh, good play. Very, very good play. plays just behind. He can play up front, but he plays just behind the front players, and he's got a great knack of getting in the box.
A murky early afternoon here now in Birmingham as Tony Adams plays it forward to Ray Parlour. Martin Keown. Vieira.
Yeah, they're actually getting well on top in the middle of midfield now. I mean, virtually everything falls to Vieira or Petty. I just wonder whether they'll be the tandem for France in the World Cup. I mean, I know they've got Zidane and people like that, but they would not be good support players to those.
Richards. All given away. Vieira says thank you. Oh, and he just played it wide for Anelka, and Anelka wasn't up for it. And Wolves escaped there. Muscat to Claridge. Handball, says the crowd. Referee agrees. Claridge does a bit of bumping and boring, and Arsenal get a free kick.
That's the irony of it all. I mean, Arsenal now, since the goal, have been well in control. A couple of little flurries at the other end for Wolves. But from Wolves' point of view, they've kept Overmars quiet. I mean, Overmars really hasn't had a contribution.
Winterburn's throw. Ray battling with Curl. Play on, said the referee. And Curl gets it clear, but Adams is there to deny Claridge. And here's Goodman again. Up to Steve Claridge, back again to Goodman. Wasn't an easy ball for him to take, actually. Adams to Ray, being pursued all the way by Williams, and Ray and Williams are having quite a little flick up there off the ball, something the referee needs to watch.
Yeah, it's a little bit of afters from the previous incident. Ray thought he had his shirt pulled on the first incident, and Williams told him to get on with the game, and that was the outcome.
Winterburn, greasy top at the moment after this rain. Anelka, foul on him, free kick to Arsenal. Petit will take it. Winterburn, Anelka, Parlour, Keown, Vieira. Push through there to Ray. Finds Anelka. Then slips it wide for Overmars. Saved by Seggers. Dutchman saving from another. And Seggers, whose career began at PSV Eindhoven. Here's Ray Parlour. Grimondi. Keown available.
Yeah, they've got loads of options now, Arsenal. I mean, there's some great movement. Parlour's touched into midfield an awful lot, into central midfield, and there's a lot of movement between the three midfield players. Always giving one an option.
You never know what's around the corner in a semi-final, or indeed in any game of football, but at the moment you just can't quite see where Wolves are going to pierce this Arsenal defence at the moment. Maybe an inspiration of Steve Bull later on. But at the moment it's Overmars. Petit had made a good run and he was balked, not by one but by two defenders, and now he's shoving away at Dean Richards, and Stephen Lodge will want a word with him about that. Totally unnecessary. You know, the managers are always saying we tell our players not to raise our hands. There's nothing you can do. You see, look at that. And then it goes on there from Dean Richards, and it goes on from Petit. It is so stupid.
Couldn't agree more with you, Brian, but you have to realise that it is a semi-final.
Yeah.
And if the fella gets sent off, you go, well, that's unprofessional. But you know, tensions are high at the moment.
Arsenal, I think, have had 6 red cards already this season. Wolves have had 4. Wolves have got a free kick here now. Paul Simpson with it. Now, can they make something pay here? No, Petit is there with a header.
You were just making the point. You wondered how Wolves could get into the game again, and I'm thinking, if somebody like that's the biggest way they would get in at the moment, if one of the key players got sent off.
Yes. Robinson stopped by Winterburn.
I would guess an awful lot of talking and planning from Wolves' point of view as well went into how can we prevent Overmars getting in the game. Do we stop the ball getting to him? Do we double bank him? Do we man-to-man mark him? And at the moment, he's without a shadow of doubt for me, he's the least effective Arsenal player.
I mean, he may still be suffering from the injuries he's been carrying into the Bolton game on Tuesday, and one which forced him out of the Bolton game early on.
We should have got forced out of our game early on. He was electric.
But I think psychologically it was important, if he could possibly play, that he should play today, don't you?
Yeah, I think when you look at the team sheet and see, all right, if Bergkamp's not on and Overmars is not, it gives the opposition a little lift. That's a good little ball behind him, but he won't beat Keown for that. Keown eats up the ground.
Grenondi's throw for Arsenal.
The other thing, of course, is if Arsenal start to enjoy themselves too much and maybe don't look to kill the Wolves off.
Well, as a club over the years, they've always believed in doing things the hard way, haven't they? Even in this cup run, they had to have 2 penalty shootouts. Goodman getting it back from Claridge. Keown stepped in quickly, just as quickly as Richard stepped in there on Ray. Anelka. Froggatt did well, that's a foul. That could be trouble for Grimondi. The yellow card. Can't really argue with that.
No, that is blatant. I mean, Froggy had actually sold him, then he beat him and he was away.
So free kick to Wolves. Is Froggatt here at your time at Villa?
Yes, I gave him his debut. He was a very, very good player. His injuries have maybe prevented him going all the way in his career.
Well, it was Parler who prevented him going all the way there. Sega's right out of his goal. Keith Curl. In for Robinson. Back again for Curl. Oh, that was a difficult one. Wasn't a good ball. Richards. And that's not a good ball either. Well, Wolves have just made it difficult for themselves here. Here's Petit. Winterburn taking it up. Overmars outside him. Vieira. To Keown. Good play by Ray. Petit. Ray to Grimondi.
Everywhere you look, there's an option, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can play square, sideways, play off the front.
Parlour to Overmars, just slipping that tackle of Muscat's. Vieira. Parlour. Ray, long range perhaps? No. In the end, Wolves have had enough of this and banged it away. It was Adrian Williams who got it clear. Burundi. Throw quickly taken there by Grimondi, but Wolves in possession again. Froggatt. Claridge beaten in the air by Keown. Grimondi. Froggatt.
Because they've only Goodman with any pace, they're a bit restricted in the type of ball they can play from the back, Wolves.
I think also Steve Bull's pace has gone a little bit now, so it's going to be something that's going to be in short supply. Keane, I fancy, is quick though if they put him up there.
The only thing about Bully, Brian, and I've seen it so many times, he has got such a belief in himself, and I know he's not having the best of seasons. Look at Petty going forward here.
Ray playing it for Anelka. Vieira. Parlour. Vieira again. And the thing is, it's a free kick for Arsenal. And the thing is that I'm sure Arsene Wenger would be saying, with this amount of play, we've got to do something about killing off Wolves with a second goal.
Yeah, they've popped it about well. They haven't made many chances, in all fairness, but you know them. They're in control of the game. It won't bother them that much. I was thinking more from Wolves' point of view. The fact is that it's very important they didn't concede a second.
It's Petit. It deflected off. I think it must have been Anelka. No, it must have been the defender because it's a corner. Overmars will take. Emmanuel Petit is still there, the near post. It's played wider, and Goodman gets it away, but Overmars might collect it to get it back in again. Petit, good turn. Vieira. And now Parlour. It's a good shot, and actually a difficult one there, bouncing on this greasy surface, just a yard or so ahead of Seggers.
I'll tell you what, if it had bounced a yard shorter, there wouldn't have been an ugly skip on it. Well worth a try, that. Seggers has done well to hang on to that one.
Goodman's header to Claridge. When you're only 1-0 down, you've always got a chance.
What you saying? It only takes a what?
Only takes a second to score a goal. As my old friend Mr. Clough always used to say. And he was another one who always said, you know, no matter how much the odds are stacked against you, if you're only 1-0 down, you're still in the game. And the odds are stacked a bit against Wolves at the moment as Arsenal come forward again. Overmars won't get hold of that.
That's something Arsenal do better than anybody else in the division, that little ball inside the fullback. The old Johnny Haynes ball, if you like.
Yes. Last couple of minutes or so of the first half now. And Arsenal get another corner. Forward comes Tony Adams. And Petit and Martin Keown. Corner's already taken. Sedgley gets it away. Petit.
Is it my imagination, Brian, or are there about 4 Vieiras on the field? Everywhere the ball goes, he's there. He gets down the line of the ball drops to him.
Smack in the face, I think, for Keown, the ball being played out. Arsenal with an incredible cup record, 6 times they've won it. This is how it happened. Yeah, he got a bang on the side of the head there as Paul Simpson went up for it. So Arsenal 6-time cup winners, only beaten by Manchester United with 9, Spurs with 8 and Villa with 7. You were going to nudging me for something.
Just watching it. It's bucketing down with rain, and Chris Ray is pouring water all over his head.
Plenty out there for him. This is some running repairs needed for Martin Keown. I mean, should for any reason he have to go off. I'm sure Arsenal fans are well aware that Steve Bold is amongst the substitutes. So you just substitute like for like.
In actual fact, if you look at the two lists of substitutes, you know, you look at Arsenal's and think they could virtually replace any player and not affect the side.
Yes.
When you consider sitting there now, David Platt, who of course made his name on this ground, hardly gets a look in now.
Yes, Bold, Platt, Manninger the goalkeeper, Boa Morty and Stephen Hughes are the subs for Arsenal. Bull, Stowell, Keane, Slater and Naylor for Wolves. So this is the goal, the kick out, and Steve, you saw Steve Secchi looking the other way, suddenly realised that Christopher Wray's on the ball here. A little touch and another little touch, and Wolves are in trouble. Wolves 4 times winners of the FA Cup, twice since the war in 1960 and in 1949. In the great days of Billy Wright and Hancocks and Mullen, and Jesse Pye was their winner that day, Burt Williams in goal. In the days, I have to say, Ron, where they wore nice, if I remember it rightly, plain old gold shirts, which I must say look much more attractive than the old gold and black they wear today.
They had the black collars and that, didn't they? Those are the black collars. What about those luminous strips they used to wear for the early floodlight ones?
Which Wolves knew plenty. Here's Petty. Really sharp shower of rain at the moment, and Elka almost in. And Ray still waiting. Referee looked hard. Penalty, said the Arsenal fans. No, said referee Lodge. And here's Don Goodman for Wolves. And there's a bit of pace that we were talking about. Claridge is in the middle for him. Simpson is also in the middle. Red shirts have got back. Muscat playing it in. And this might come for Floggett. Can Wolves do something now on the stroke of half-time? Left foot of Floggett, charged down brilliantly by Vieira. And now cleared by Adams. Knocked back again by Williams. Here's Ray.
I think if the rain continues like this, you know, we'll get a surface that will make the game a lot more exciting. You know, more mistakes can be made.
Knocked back. They claim that, quite right. Good decision, referee. I think the Arsenal fans claiming that was a back pass. In fact, it flicked off the Wolves defender. Wasn't a back pass intended at any rate. First FA Cup semi-final. Christopher Wray's goal after 12 minutes is the one that counts. Wolves have been battling against the odds. They've made few chances, but there's always a hope on a pitch that is going to become increasingly difficult. Half-time then here. It's Arsenal 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
Hello again, we're at Villa Park, Birmingham, where Arsenal are 1 up against Wolves after 45 minutes of this FA Cup semi-final. Barry Venison, Gareth Southgate with me. Are you surprised, gentlemen, that it has been as comfortable as it has been in this 45 minutes?
Not really, but you do get the impression that Arsenal have got another 2 gears left. Patrick Vieira, Ron's made the point in commentary, he's absolutely ran the show. Him and Petit have been fantastic, and unless Wolves get on top of them, in the centre of midfield and close them down, it's going to be pretty much the same again in the second half.
Gareth?
I think what we didn't really want from the point of view of a spectacle of a game was an early Arsenal goal, and that's what's happened, and it's uphill for Wolves. But they've got 3 attacking players on the bench, 3 goal scorers, Friedman, Bull and Keane, and we might see all of them at some stage in the second half.
Let's have a look at that goal that Gareth talked about, Barry. Take us through this.
Well, Hans Seegers, it's a shocking kick, but what's happened here is Patrick Vieira's been very switched on. Steve essentially had his back to play, and he's drove with his long legs, he's drove at the back 4, back 3, but it's a great finish.
He's normally such a good kicker, Seegers, isn't he?
Yes, I think we should say that, but this is the way he covers the ground. Dean Richards has fell over, then he's committed to Keith Curl, and it's a very cool finish. But Arsenal do deserve this. They have probed.
Quite a finish.
Very cool. I mean, like we said, I have been impressed with his overall contribution to the game. He has got stuck in. He's not the finished article. When he's lost the ball, he's got his foot in. I've been impressed with him.
Everybody would be looking and saying, Gareth, you know, how Wolves are going to get through this famous defence of Arsenal's. There was one incident, wasn't there? One ball over the top, as it were.
There was, yeah. I mean, I think there are 2 areas where Wolves can really threaten, and one of them is Goodman coming in off the line as he's done, getting in behind Tony Adams there. It was a good ball from Dean Richards just over the top. I know you wanted him strung up for that challenge on the goalkeeper, Bob, but I think he's entitled to go for it, in fairness. But if he can get across Nigel Winterburn and try and run in behind Tony, and they can feed him there, the other area where Wolves could be dangerous, I think, is with Steve Froggatt down this left-hand side, if they can get him through.
Yeah, the only trouble is, Barry, if Wolves, they have to be careful that having got on attack, they suddenly find themselves in deep defence.
Well, they've got to force the issue a little bit, but what they've got is pace, Arsenal. And even when they're right round their own box, it's Emmanuel Petit with a great tackle there, right at the edge of his box, and with the pace they've got, they're right up the end of the field. And it's Anelka who wasn't favourite there. And what he does here, he attacks the last defender, gets a little bit of luck, and the ball breaks inside. Another great chance here, a half chance for Ray Parlour, but the fact that they can start at the edge of their box with one tackle and threaten the goal within 10 seconds, that's their strength.
Gareth, you suggested I wasn't happy about that little foot up there, but I mean, I had no doubt. So there's not a penalty. Let's clear up this penalty call that was there on Anelka.
Yes, I mean, the one area you don't want him to have the ball into feet as a Wolves player is in this sort of situation. And you can see the rain pouring down here, and any sort of challenge is dangerous in the box, but I think this is shoulder to shoulder. I think it would have been very harsh to have given it, quite frankly.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I actually agree with you. Okay, thank you very much. Hello again from Villa Park. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Arsenal 1 after 45 minutes here. And with me here, Barry Venison, Gareth Southgate. Vieira, Ron Atkinson came out with a great line about Patrick Vieira, didn't he, in the first half? Because I mean, he does appear to be running the whole game.
Yeah, I think he said there was 6 Vieiras out there. Yeah, it does look like him and Emmanuel Petit, that they complement each other. They're both very physical, they're very strong, and they can pass the ball. And Patrick Vieira's got that lovely strength of being able to cover ground quickly, so he can join up with the forwards. But he's very important to the 2 centre halves, and he makes their life very easy.
Ray Parlour has been probably the most improved player for Arsenal this season, Gareth. What's your view of him?
Yeah, he's a big influence. I thought he was unlucky that he played very well for England B and was unfortunate to miss out on the trip to Switzerland with injury. Very clever. He's running Froggatt inside most of the game. He's managed to take him inside, which is leaving a great deal of space for Grimondi. I mean, that's a good strike there. But what I'd like to see from Wolves' point of view is Froggatt take him the other way and maybe get at them, because I think that's, short of them making any substitutions, that is Wolves' biggest threat, I think.
What do you think Mark McGee can do tactically for Wolves?
Well, we were just discussing that. I mean, I think he may decide to throw Robbie Keane in, just in behind the front two.
Steve Bull?
I'm sure we'll see him at some stage, if nothing else, to get the supporters going again, because he would certainly give everybody a huge lift.
They've never really replaced Steve Bull. I mean, the legend that he replaced was John Richards, and Bully's got he's got 300 goals, and today we haven't seen a natural successor to Steve Bull. You know, maybe a little bit for old time's sake, but get him on and unsettle the back four of Arsenal. I think that'll be the way forward. But I think logically, Robbie Keane will come on. I think Paul Simpson's been pretty quiet. He might be the victim now.
Arsene Wenger. What about Arsene Wenger's thoughts at this moment?
Very comfortable, very happy. It's game plans on. It's worked very well. The 1-0 up. They would settle for that now, and the one thing Wolves can't do is sit back and allow Arsenal, the way they have done, to dictate the play the first half.
I'm just hearing there are no changes for Arsenal, although Martin Keown's had a couple of stitches inserted. No changes either for Wolves. In fact, we can now hear from the Wolves manager, Mark McGee. He's with Gary Newbon.
Mark, what's the game plan to get back into the semi-final?
Well, it's not really a lot different. I think we just want to make the game a little bit shorter. The game's a bit longer than we wanted it to be. Obviously, we've gifted them a goal. You know, they've not made another chance. We feel as if all the possession they've had has been in front of us. That's not concerned us at all. Really, we just want to get Don Goodman and Paul Simpson a bit closer to Steve Claridge. And because the game's been so long, it's been difficult to do that. So really, just make the game a little bit shorter. But, you know, meantime, keep on doing the same things.
Thank you.
So the Wolves manager, Mark McGee, are back here in the commentary box with Ron Atkinson and me, Brian Moore. Your feeling, there's the injury over his right eye. 2 stitches in that for Martin Keown. Your thoughts, Ron? Are you surprised that Wolves have made no substitutions?
I think they'll leave it 10 minutes or so. I would, if I was Mark McGee, somehow or other, try and revert to a 4-4-2. In other words, more or less match Arsenal. I'd get Bully and Goodman up the middle, and then Froggatt up on the left-hand side, trying to wang a few balls in at them.
And bring Robbie Keane on? Possibly?
Yes, they'd have him floating somewhere, perhaps in a little right-hand side position.
Well, at this moment, Arsenal 45 minutes on Stephen Lodge's watch, away from another Wembley appearance. Leading 1-0. Wolves now attacking the end where their supporters are. And you can imagine the noise they'll make on if Stephen Bull does actually come on and make an appearance this afternoon. Vieira. Williams with the header, and here's the Australian Kevin Muscat, ex-Crystal Palace, finding Froggatt, finding Simpson, who's gone a little wider on the left. Apparently he never sits on the bench. He always is doing his exercises away from the bench. The leading legend in Wolverhampton, Steve Bull. Oh, the chance is there! Simpson was in! And Arsenal for once caught fast asleep as Paul Simpson made his break. And it was just the reflexes of David Seaman. Ball seemed to be hit straight at him, but that'll be a terrific boost for Wolves. Well, we talk about a goal or a goal opportunity out of nothing. That was it. Now Wolves have conceded the free kick, Carl Robinson. What about that one?
I mean, that was... Arsenal went to sleep, to be fair. Goodman had knocked a good header, and he got up and knocked one of those little diagonal headers in that was drifting towards Grimaldi. And I think Grimaldi went... I think he went to sleep, and Simpson, full credit to him, got inside him, and Simpson's a good finisher. He's got a good goals record. Pity he couldn't have taken it on a stride, but he got his shot in, and unfortunately he went down the throat, if you like, of one of the best keepers in the world.
That'll give Wolves great heart, but they've got to defend here. Here's Anelka. And now Pity trying to get the ball wide. Williams gets there first, though. Not forward. Here's Goodman. And now Wolves in full flight again. Claridge has gone wide of him. It's still Don Goodman. It's still Don Goodman. In the end, he just did a little too much with Simpson outside him on that left foot. That would have been interesting. But just listen to the Wolves fans now.
Thinks he was fouled there as well, Brian.
Yeah.
And he's running. Thinks he was tugged back.
It's an Arsenal throw.
You know, sometimes in a football match, here he goes now. He's got good pace, darling. That's the header. That's the header down.
Yeah. My goodness, he was in like a flash, wasn't he? And Keown's going off. Steve Bold is coming on. So Keown has gone. That's an absolute seamless substitution, that one. Eased up, but the pitch is encouraging a swift, good passing game. lack of experience as far as Steve Bold is concerned. For years he's played alongside Tony Adams. But here's some defending that needs to be done for Arsenal as Curl hits another free kick towards that penalty area. Petit gets there, Bold gets his first touch. And there was a foul by Goodman, a free kick to Arsenal. Just what Wolves didn't need then. They needed to keep that momentum going, and as it is, it's Winterburn. Slow things down for Arsenal. Finding Anelka. Good challenge by Williams. Knocked forward by Muscat. Claridge, and then Robinson. I doubt that Sedgley will get there.
No doubt at all. Arsenal looked lethargic since the restart. Whether they got into that cruise control mode or whatever it was as they were going in, or whether it was the incident with Simpson, but sometimes something like that sparks a team, a strong tackle, a crashing shot or something like that, and Wolves have had the lift straight after half-time.
Yes, whatever it is that Mark McGee and Colin Lee said at half-time in that dressing room, just really stirred Wolves up. But here comes Overmars on this side of the field now. But cut out by Richards. Parler can't keep it in play. Wolves going to throw.
The other thing they've done, of course, is they're going towards where the majority of their fans are, Wolves. They've given them a lift that way.
That's right. Sedgley. Back to Curl. Steve Sedgley again. Left footing, looking for Don Goodman. Not enough support for him, and it was a difficult header for Goodman. He couldn't pick up Claridge. Seaman banging it clear. Three central defenders there for Wolves. It was Keith Curl who got it up now. Claridge again. Here's Froggatt. That's a free kick. And he's already got a yellow card, remember. He's already got a yellow card. But it looks as though he's escaped.
It looks very much as if he's got the sympathy vote here, Brian.
Yeah.
Perhaps not.
Here's the free kick. Knocked away by Petit. Goodman's waiting there. A good header, and it needed to be from Bold. Vieira. Look at that. What about that for composure and faith in your own ability by Patrick Vieira, and a long ball through, and the flag has stayed down, but it reaches Siggers before Anelka can get there.
That was a bad ball from Parler. I don't think he meant it for Anelka. I think he meant it across here for Overmars. There's one spare.
Simpson. It's a much better game now. Adams.
The other thing, of course, Don Goodman seems to be occupying a second striking role now, as opposed to being pulling on Winterburn. And the one thing Arsenal have lost in Keown is their pace.
Yes. Sedgley, here's his cross. It's a deep one towards Goodman. And now Muscat. Charged down by Pettit. Suddenly Robinson was in what seemed to be their best position, but again Arsenal slammed the door shut. But here's Goodman, who looks as though he might cause mischief now in this second half. Muscat trying to stop Pettit. Petit now to Ray. Anelka's there. Terrific pace. Shouldered off the ball by Curl. Goes unpunished. And Wolves with Simpson. Oh, suddenly into Claridge. He needed too long, and Bold gets it away.
I'll tell you what, Brian, if Claridge had scored or equalised there, there'd have been all hell let loose at the other end, because I think Keith Curl has got away with the most blatant obstruction I've seen this season. I mean, almost, you might say, a sending off offence. Why did he? Heaven only knows.
Here's Froggatt again. There's a cross, looping in. Goodman's behind it, and Goodman! Oh, my goodness, he put it wide. And there was no foul. The referee's run away from that situation. There was no foul there. It's a goal kick, and Goodman came so close to making a Wolves equaliser.
That's a good deep ball in. Really, Seaman hasn't got a problem there until Goodman, who must have thought the goal was opening up for him. Great defending by Petit.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, that may even have been a corner. This is the moment you were
Curl here. What's he done that for? I mean, his goalkeeper's a good favourite.
It's a good semi-final now. And Richards has missed his chance, but Ray tried to get in behind him. Richards responded and recovered. Petit. The header by Williams. Here's Vieira. Again, Curl gets this one away. Winterburn.
See what's happened as well, I get the impression, because Wolves have started off on a very high tempo, that Arsenal have got the same momentum, whereas Arsenal were at the best in the first half when they were dictating the pace of the game.
Well, they started those long balls to Goodman at the far post as well, Ron, haven't they? It's a couple we've seen in this half.
Yeah, I mean, he's pumped up for it. Don Goodman is a very aggressive, competitive player.
Claridge to Froggatt. Simpson on the far touchline. Froggatt again. A little touch for Sedgley. Well, that could be trouble for Parlour, was it?
Yes. That's twice in the space of a few minutes that Stevie Froggatt's been blocked off.
So a second yellow card.
And of course they're building up pressure on themselves with free kicks.
Simpson's kick. Ooh, right across that goal. Tony Adams went for it, couldn't get it. It's gone for a throw. So Parlour joins Grimondi in Stephen Lodge's book. And Wolves are coming out firing on all cylinders now in this second half. Robinson. Froggatt. Played in again. That half chance that Simpson had right at the start of the second half has convinced them that they're by no means out of this game yet. Curl. Here's Sedgley. Claridge. Froggatt with the cross. Again, that deep one. And Seaman at the second attempt finds Overmars. Bit of space for Parlour. And Elka made a little run. Vieira's gone storming outside him. Vieira will be the one he goes for probably. No, he's come this side for Ray. Nobody there. Here come Wolves. It's Simpson. They'll look for Goodman again. Goodman's the one they feel can turn this game for them.
I'll tell you the other thing, you can almost hear the Wolves bench screaming, give the ball to Froggy.
Yes.
He's got two players against him that are both on bookings who can't afford to make any rash challenges.
Muscat. Claridge. Sedgley's gone through, he's well offside.
Well, who could have forecast this?
Exactly. Well offside.
Yeah. I mean, they just look as if they've said, and whether it was the shot that sparked it all off or what, they look as if they've just said, nothing to lose, drive forward. And it's amazing that when you do that, how many times the game starts to come your way.
Now, why was Mark McGee signalling 15?
Where they want it, he thought they got 15 players on the park. I did last week.
Well, here is number 15, Ray Parlour. Petit. And he won't find Overmars. It'll be a kick for Wolves. I spoke to that splendid old gentleman, Sir Jack Hayward, before the game, the president of Wolves. He was here, he had a triple bypass heart operation in Los Angeles just a couple of weeks or so ago. But he said to me, there's no other place in the world I'd be today than here. He's really, I suppose, in his way, the saviour of Wolves for what he's done for them. Created a wonderful ground at Molineux. But I don't think his cardiologist would say that this is the best recovery period for what he's gone through, Sir Jack, coming up to his 75th birthday. Was that a corner? Yes, it was.
Well, certainly Grimaldi's looking very rattled now. They're trying to feed the ball wide as much as they can to Steve Froggatt to run at him.
So here comes this corner. Sedgley's in there. Williams is in there. Arsenal believing in their own ability again, deep inside their own penalty area to just nick the ball away.
Barry Venison said at half-time he thought Arsenal had got 2 gears to go up. They're going to have to go up those 2 gears, you know. Because at the moment they're second.
And there's a dilemma too for Mark McGee in a way, because the side are playing so well at the moment with this sort of spirit. Do you actually bring on Steve Bull?
I think you might have to just wait and see if this just dies off a second. I mean, psychologically, it might be the right time to just wait now.
Up the middle towards Claridge, but also up the middle, Tony Adams and David Seaman. Simpson. It's a good long ball he's played there, just too long though. News from the benches that Simpson's been told to drift in a little bit to give Froggatt room to go down that flank. They're strong down that left-hand side, Wolves, aren't they?
Yeah, 2 very good left-footed players coming forward. I mean, Simpson's got great delivery, and Froggatt's at his best for me. I mean, for me, he played most of his games as a left winger. When he hugs the touchline and races at the last man and whips crosses over.
Adams, Parler, Robinson was after him, Raimondi, an Arsenal throw.
See, I think that's where they miss Dixon.
Yes.
Lee Dixon loves roaring onto those and just taking them out of his feet and whipping balls across.
So Raimondi's throw. Over Mars. Essentially back. Simpson. Again hit long towards Claridge, but Bold and Adams will always win those in the air, and the 6'4" Vieira won't be far behind. Over Mars. Battling there with Curl. What a battle. Ray now bringing Winterburn into the game. And Elka's waiting in the middle. Still with Winterburn. Looks around and picks out Petit. Petit to over Mars. Still over Mars. No foul. It's up with Goodman. Oh, and he's given it away to Vieira. He meant to play it to Robinson. It's Vieira though. And that was charged down brilliantly by Keith Curl. And Simpson now can bring it away for Wolves. Goodman's made a terrific break through the middle for him. Says Froggatt. No foul. It's a man's game, the referee's saying, and it's all the better for it. Here's Winterburn. Picking up Ray. Over Mars on the far side of the box. Here's Anelka. Winterburn again. Parler.
This is where they can get their pattern going now.
Yes.
He's got the time, the space.
Parler's made a run. Sedgley's gone with him. And Curl, as dependable as ever, getting it away behind for the corner.
I have to say, I'm not convinced Overmars is fit. Just watching some of the movements he's making, some of his runs, he's not as explosive as he is when he's at his best. But I think that last run typified that when he went through the middle, you know. I think he was looking for somebody to bring him down. This is the sort of thing where you might get Adams. Adams in the centre of the goal now. This is a left-footed ball, a big overhit from Petit, and Adams might spin right on the back.
Chat with Bowl, so something's being cooked up. But Wolves in defending were equal to it. I think it was Dean Richards got his head to that one. Over Mars. Curling it in again towards Steve Bowl on the far side.
He is a threatening big baldy when he comes up for those set plays. I think Don Goodman thought he took a ride on him on his shoulders that time.
Froggatt to Simpson. Instantly closed on by 2 Arsenal defenders. In goes Richards. This was the bold header, Ron.
Have a look at Don Goodman. I think he's entitled to make some sort of contact. It's a pity from Arsenal's point of view, the ball, he could have just kept that across the face of the goal. But the one thing we feared at half-time hasn't happened. You know, you thought Arsenal were going to come out and absolutely murder them, but that hasn't happened. But all credit to Wolves, they've been the better side in the second period.
Here's Overmars again. So I guess you've got a few options when you pick man of the match later on in the afternoon, Ron, huh?
Very much so. I mean, there's been some good performances from both sides now.
Here's David Seaman. Cannoned off Curl's knee. The flag is up for an offside. Ray is offside. He's banged into Seggers, but the whistle's gone. The whistle's gone.
James Marloff. Good bright early ball from Overmars. He spotted the scene very well. He's him well off.
Well off. Goodman's header just got enough of a touch on it. And Goodman again. No foul. And away comes that long striding Patrick Vieira. Anelka. Ray. Anelka. They answered the referee. I think Curl did catch him actually.
That was a foul, but I think he's made up for the one at the other end.
Winterburn. Ray. Into Overmars.
I think the referee realised Simpson had been fouled as well by Vieira.
Richards lost his way there, didn't quite know where he was going. Winterburn does.
Never a bad ball, that, you know, Winterburn. He's got nowhere to go. He's just rolled it up into the corner of the field. I tell you what, if Ian Wright had been playing, no danger, he would have been after that. I mean, Anelka and Wright both like the ball played into their feet, but sometimes the better ball is to play into the space.
Ramondi's header. Wolves at this stage are missing the busy little play of players like Simon Osborne, who's suspended, sent off at Ipswich, and indeed the runs of young Neil Emblin, who's cup-tied. And here's Overmars for Arsenal, curling it in, and it was Steve Curl. Ray with a shot charged down by Sedgley. Arsenal's throw.
Just get the feeling they've arrested it a little bit now. They're starting to get more possession, starting to look a little bit more menacing as they come forward.
The tide of battle has just switched a little bit from the Arsenal engine into Wolves' half of the field.
Might it be time for the legend?
I think the legend is stripping off. Oh, it's a chance. There's still a chance. Overmars, and just at that moment Carl Robinson came in to save. Well, a very dicey situation indeed for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Well, this could have been expensive, could have. I mean, Richard shadowing it out, and Elka looks stitched on, can't quite get his shot, and squeezes out to Overmars, who's robbed by Robinson.
Well, here comes the corner. Important that Wolves keep this out if ball is just coming on. And they have. Overmars, curled in again, and allowed by Williams to go behind for the goal kick to Wolves. .300 goals for his club. A great hero of Molineux. 12 seasons there, days of glory. And is this going to be, oh, Don Goodman going off?
Well, I have to say, I'm absolutely staggered by that. Okay, unless there's something at half-time where the Don's got a groin strain or...
Well, he's been, I tell you what,
he's been their best player.
He's having a bit of Achilles trouble this last few weeks, Ron. That might well have been it.
Yes. It's got to be that. It cannot be a tactical one, that. Because I was looking forward to him pairing up with Bully and trying to savage the Arsenal two central defenders.
Well, there's our man, Steve Bull. 33 years old now, 13 caps for his country, and games without number for his club. Well, we've had it confirmed from the bench that there is no injury to Goodman. It was a tactical substitution. Three subs are allowed. Vieira. And Robinson, we understand, is coming off in a moment. Up to Steve Bull, his first touch. Steve Bull. Oh, and he might get it through for Claridge. Oh, my goodness, Claridge was so close. And he might now. What a comedy of errors we've got here in the Arsenal defence. Bull tries another shot, and in the end, the ball is cleared. But Bull looked as though he had a half chance. Claridge looked as though he had more than that, but demanded that extra touch, and that was what did him.
But if you say Brian Bull's made his mark,
but Claridge had a great chance.
Unbelievable. He took an eternity. Yes. Whether it was surprise, whether he might have thought he was offside when the ball rebounded.
Well, again, yes, fouled by Steve Bull. Substitution is being made. So Carl Robinson going off, made a very good interception just a minute or two ago deep in his own penalty area, and Robbie Slater coming on. Well, we have Simpson and Sedgley behind this free kick. Simpson with it, too high. Well, we must look again at this incredible incident.
Well, he turns in, he'll have counted that as a through ball. Almost got a shout for a penalty on that as well.
Yeah.
But even then it's not mopped up. Even then it rebounds into him. I think we might have been a bit of a harsh in our first time assessment, right?
Of Claridge.
I think the ball came awkward to him.
But it shows that the match is still there to be saved, Ron.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously, and I'm still staggered by the decision to take
Goodman off.
I must admit, I'd actually earmarked him as one of the better players.
Bold with a header over Mars. Good shot. Oh, lovely ball. And Parler now is released, and Anelka's in the middle, Goal kick.
That is an ugly ball from Ray Parler. Player of his quality, that should have been a goal. With some great little link-up play on the halfway line. Some lovely little ball off here from Overmars. Little touch into his run. He's now clear. All he's got to do is play this in this little corridor between the keeper. He's tried to play it, but his execution should have been a lot better than that for a player of his quality.
Goal kick to Wolves. Still 1-0. Still everything to play for. And here's Steve Bull. Stopped that time by Adams. And Winterburn bangs it clear.
The other thing, we've talked about Bull coming on. Of course, Slater's a very aggressive forward-running player who might just give them a bit of natural right-sidedness.
Sedgley. Claridge won't get to it. Anelka. Vieira hitting it long. Will that go for the corner? I think it has. a throw which Petit will take. Slater. Here's Slater again. Simpson trying to get Froggatt away. The ball inside the fullback, or at least inside the defender there. Parla. Vieira. Overmars. Still with Overmars. And now Winterburn. Good save.
Some great vision from Overmars there, picking it up, knew all along that Winterburn was powering up alongside him, plays it into his run. I thought he took it a little bit wider with his first touch there, but still a very good stop from Sagers.
Overmars with the corner. No, the referee's not ready for it. A substitution, I think, is being made. Well, it's Crystal Ray who scored the only goal who's going. And Stephen Hughes, I think, is coming on. And here's Stephen Hughes. Scored 1 or 2 valuable goals this season already.
Oh, he's an excellent player.
It was Sedgley's header, not making much distance on it though. Williams' clearance making a little more. Overmars again. Vieira. A foul there by Anelka on Curl. Free kick to Wolves.
I wonder, in fact, whether they're going to play Hughes just behind the front. I thought they might have switched Overmars through the middle, you know. In fact, I think they've done that. They have put Overmars through the middle, and Hughes has come to act because he's a natural left-sided player.
Towards Claridge. Bold wins it in the air. Vieira challenged by Sedgley. Vieira wins both those challenges. Here's Parla. Sedgley again went through the challenge of Gramondi. It's an Arsenal throw. Inside the last quarter of an hour. Winterburn, Hughes, his first touch. Cut out by Curl. Winterburn. Slater in with aggression, but not with profit though, and it'll be a throw to Wolves. To be taken by Muscat. Winterburn. Down by Slater. Slater knocking it in, finding Claridge. Well, it was Bull knocking it in and finding Claridge. Here's Slater, and a free kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Slater with it. Beat Simpson. Games are full of what ifs, but just what if Simpson had scored with that shot at the start of the second half, with much more aggressive looking Wolves. Offside flag is up against Steve Bull.
Oh, that's his favourite position as well, pulling on the shoulder of the left hand centre back. I just wonder, I didn't.
Arsenal throw. Or maybe a free kick. Free kick. Bold is here again. Ramondi with it.
Doesn't look totally comfortable to me, Grimaldi, as the right full back.
No.
Last time I saw him play central defender, he was magnificent, but I must say today he's looked a bit out of sorts there.
Free kick in Wolverhampton's way. Curl with it, finding Richards. Slater. Claridge. Sedgley strolling. And Adams gets the better of him. Ramondi. Sedgley after him. Keep going back to that Arsenal goal and how Wolves must be cursing that.
Yeah, I mean, that changed the complete flow of the game, didn't it? I mean, Wolves have started very well. That's a good goal. Not the best of control. Wolves have started very well. They've been very compact, and all of a sudden out of nothing. Well, I'd say out of nothing. I mean, that's taken a lot away from Vieira. But after that, Arsenal completely controlled the first half. All credit to Wolves. I could not have seen them coming back like this.
And also, Ron, you count how many clear chances Arsenal have had. They've created very few chances. Froggatt. Simpson playing it in. Adams getting it away, none too convincingly.
I'm not too sure Arsenal are the sort of side that make a lot of chances in their goal. I think they have a lot of possession in dangerous areas. Maybe they haven't got a big target man they can throw it in at, but there's a chance.
Anelka, mistake by Richards. Still with Anelka. Good challenge by Curl, a brilliant piece of defending by him. And now Slater.
And Petty really appreciates that from Anelka. He was in acres of space on his left hand. Talking of left hands, he did well there.
Just kept it in.
But on that last break, Petty, it's covered the whole length of the field to try and support Anelka. He's just virtually saying, just ease it sideways and I've got to knock in. To be fair to Anelka, he's only young. He gives you the impression he's a lot more mature than he is, but he's only 18, isn't he?
Anelka, yes, he's 19.
Oh, he's an older man, much older.
Here's Stephen Hughes. It's a good run by Hughes. No. Goal kick. But Arsenal still within 10 minutes of another Wembley appearance.
But what I feared at half-time is they'd come out and completely control the game, and as an event, not make it hardly worth watching, but it's been a very good spectacle in the second half, end-to-end. All credit to Wolves, they've put in an awful lot of time, and I don't think they're not out of it yet, you know.
No, they're not. They're not.
And this isn't one of those, the last 10 minutes is just going to just ebb away.
Well, it's Curl with the free kick, and these are the moments that Wolves have got to make pay. They've put Adrian Williams and Dean Richards, their two big central defenders, right there in the Arsenal box, and the other central defender, Curl, is taking the kick. Arsenal lining up to get it away. Up goes Sedgley. Can't get it away though, and Hughes can get on the break for Arsenal. He's got Anelka, and he's got Overmars, and he's got Petit. He's got 3 against 3, and an offside flag has gone up against Anelka, and
interesting one that, wasn't it? Yeah. Because the ball hadn't gone to Anelka, it hadn't been played forward.
That's right. But back come Wolves. Robbie Slater. Musket. No, that's going nowhere.
I think the thing to say about Wolves in this half, they've looked equally as good as Arsenal.
That's what I'm saying.
Whereas in the first half, they looked more than a division apart. They looked light years apart.
Winterburn. It's done well. Anelka. Vieira. And Simpson in says thank you very much. He's found Claridge. Now Claridge needs to release it quickly, and he hasn't done so. The red shirts are streaming back. It's with Sedgley, knocked forward again towards Steve Bull, but Bold has got there first. Another substitution being made for Wolves. taking off Kevin Muscat. And Arsenal making a substitution also. So Muscat is gone, and Robbie Keane comes on, 17 years old, from Dublin.
And I think he'll just be told.
Anelka's going, and David Platt coming on. Anelka seems reluctant to go.
I think you'll see this young Keane, and I think he'll play anywhere he likes, and I bet he's been told, just go and get us an equaliser.
Well, we'll watch number 14, Robbie Keane. Already played for the Republic of Ireland, 17 years old, looking to get in on the action. Oof. Overmars, Richards after him. That's going to be a Wolves throw. Manu better to try and catch you out with when did a 17-year-old last play in the semi-final? Ron, you reminded me, Norman Whiteside.
And scored on this very ground.
1983.
Against Arsenal.
Against Arsenal. And he was just 18 when he played in the final, but he was still 17. Keane is younger than that. Keane, I think, is not 18 until, I think it's May. May even be a little later. I suppose Paul Allen at West Ham was also a 17-year-old in a semi-final. But here's Pettit. Hughes. Platt's on the far side in his favourite position. Arriving late as he does, and keeps the ball going from a goal kick to a corner for Wolves. A little over 5 minutes, a little under 5 minutes left now for Wolves. Overmars. Foul. Conceded by Keith Curle. Arsenal's free kick. They could really finish it off here. Parler and Overmars behind it. Sega's not happy with the lining up of the wall. Stephen Hughes is there too.
Oh, what's going on there? You want to see Curl in the box. He's just kicked all sorts of lumps off Platt there.
Well, the referee didn't see it.
Oh, if he'd have seen it, he'd just sending off at a penalty. Oh.
And it's gone wide from Stephen Hughes.
Platt was trying to get in a position where he wanted to encroach and get close to the goalkeeper.
Oh, here we are, Ron. Look, there in the right hand of the picture there.
It all happened before that.
That's way before that.
It was happening before that. Kevin Curl just had a lash at him. And obviously, he wasn't very happy with something Platt had done, but...
good break. Overmars is there. Platt is at the far post. Good challenge by Richards. And Al Simpson. Froggatt. Claridge. Overmars. You get the feeling now Wolves are probably dug just as deep as they can dig. Vieira into Overmars. Still with Overmars. Still with Overmars. No penalty. David Platt with a shot and the save by Seggers in the corner.
Nearly squeezed his way through then. Halfway through that, I thought we were going to see the goal of the season.
Yes.
He's just got the feeling that he passed one, passed another, bip, passed the next. It's a good footing from Richards. That one's nearly squeezed in.
And Arsenal taking their time, taking the corner, and the referee very pointedly looking at his watch.
Don't know what triggered that incident off on that previous free kick there, but Keith Curle was taking his life into his hands, I would have thought there.
Petit with the corner. Petit. come for Overmars.
He's actually looked fresher since he's moved into the centre.
Raimondi. Parler. Vieira. Hughes to Petit. Vieira. Wolves just can't get a smell of it at the moment. Overmars. A little chip and what a lovely one in. And knocked back again. Lovely stuff by Arsenal now. It must be something like 20 passes. Who's going to give it away? Not Bernardi and not Platt. Offside. Do you want to talk about man of the match?
Yeah, basically for his first half performance, it's got to be Patrick Vieira. For Wolves, I thought Don Goodman was taken off. I think Froggett's done well, a lot of them have done well. For Arsenal, Vieira and Petit, particularly in the first half.
Hold on, here's Claridge. And Slater. But Vieira comes away with it again. But he's hit Williams with it. Yeah. Feet were flying there. Winterburn's unhappy. And Robbie Keane, the 17-year-old, involved as well. And so too was Adrian Williams, who's going to get a yellow card.
I think Robbie Keane's a bit unlucky there because Winterburn thinks it's him that's chopped him, where it's Adrian Williams. It really had little or nothing to do with Keane.
And a handshake at the end of it. Time added on now. Arsenal just a few seconds away from another Wembley appearance. 7-2 for the double at the start of today. Up goes Bold. Platt. Overmars versus Richards. And away by Simpson. Battle with great spirit, Wolves, when they looked to be overshadowed for a lot of the first half. They've come back so well in the second half without really quite having the cutting edge to upset Arsenal. And Arsene Wenger's side look to be on their way to Wembley. Thanks to Christopher Wray's goal after 12 minutes. The final whistle. Arsenal go through to Wembley, having beaten Wolves here 1-0. Scenes of great delight on the Arsenal bench. The goal by Christopher Wray. Wolves will have to turn their attentions now to the promotion playoff places. Their fans know they've come here as underdogs and really have fought a terrific fight. But Arsenal, particularly in the first half, with that better class, masterminded by Vieira in the midfield, who made the goal, in fact, for Christopher Wray after 12 minutes, putting the Gunners through to a Wembley final in May. So, a triumph for Arsenal, a sadness for Wolves, but maybe there are still big battles for them to come this season. For the final score then is Wolves 0, Arsenal 1 in this Cup semi-final at Villa Park.
Welcome back to Villa Park. Arsenal have beaten Wolves 1-0. The Gunners will be in the FA Cup final. Some happy team members here with Gary Newborn.
Right, two of the older players back at Wembley yet again.
It's a great feeling. You know, we know what it's like to lose, and we don't want that feeling again, and we've proved it this afternoon. It's been great.
But you've got to feel a bit sorry for your opposite number, a mistake in the first half.
Yeah, but that's the way it goes. You know, sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't, but, you know, unlucky.
Okay, Steve Ball,
I need to wait to say it, I'm telling you.
Wolves gave you quite a fight in the second half, although
they played ever so well. Yeah, it was a bit backs to the wall at the end, and we managed, push through, and we kept the ball well in the last 10 minutes, which is important.
So the season goes on and on for Arsenal.
Yeah, on and on. It's turned out to be a great end to it, but we're still going to win things.
What about the Frenchmen, particularly Patrick Vieira today?
They've been brilliant. They've been brilliant at the end. Fantastic.
Okay, well done, lads.
Thank you.
Barry Venison and Gareth Southgate with me. What an unexpected second half that was, Gareth.
Yeah, Wolves for 15 minutes really gave it the gun, and I think just by upping the tempo of the game, nothing really technical or tactical about what they did, but they just really went for it.
And could have scored. Let's look at straight away.
Yeah.
This was really maybe David Seaman's only major save of the game.
Yeah, it was Paul Simpson that finally got the shot in. It's a bit of a snapshot. David Seaman's reacted. We thought at half-time Paul Simpson would be included, but his contribution early on was nearly very significant there. He's had a great strike.
There were other difficult moments as well, Gareth, weren't there, really? But there were more scrambles.
They were. I mean, as I said at half-time, they managed to get Steve Froggatt going for 10-15 minutes. But after that, Arsenal managed to cut the supply out to him. And once they'd weathered that storm, they looked more and more comfortable as the game went on, really.
That chance we saw came early on in the second half. Let's look at the moment early on in the first half that won the game, Gareth.
Yeah, I mean, it was a devastating time as far as Wolves were concerned to concede that early. I mean, again, we see the clinical finish, but the timing of the goal was so important from Arsenal's point of view, and I think any nerves they may have had were immediately settled by that.
And the way Arsenal play, I mean, it's 1-0, 1-0. They've only ever won each cup tie by no more than one goal all season. And they've got a bit of Italian about the Italian mentality where they're happy to win 1-0.
OK, sorry to interrupt you, but I think Arsene Wenger's there with Gary.
First season as manager of Arsenal, and you get to go to Wembley. What's that like?
Yeah, I think it was difficult in this cup because we had problems all the way to go through until the final, but now the most difficult is to make is to go to Wembley and try, of course, to win it. But it was a very difficult game for us today. We could fortunately catch our first chance, and in the second half we had some problems, and we were a little bit under pressure in the first 25 minutes. And after, we missed many chances on the breaks to finish the game or to kill the game, and we couldn't do it. So until the end, it was very, very difficult nervously.
And you brought some exciting players here, Arsene. What about Vieira's performance today?
He was outstanding. Already, I think, at Bolton he was very good, and today again he's coming. He had a small dip in January and in December, but since 1 month he's outstanding.
I know you don't want me to say this, but you're a little step nearer a double.
We are a little step nearer to. We are in the final first, and I think I would like to keep what I said is a championship is important as of now, and the next game in a championship, and only that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And all that remains is for me to thank Gareth and to thank Barry for being with us, and to tell you that Wolves haven't made it, but what a fight the First Division side have put up this afternoon. They've gone down to that trademark scoreline, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Chris Ray with the winner. Arsene Wenger's Gunners are in the FA Cup final. That double is still on. From all of us, bye-bye.